The Ungrateful Little Frog. Long ago, deep within an ancient forest, where the trees stretched so high they seemed to touch the clouds, there was a beautiful lake hidden among the reeds and wildflowers. The lake was peaceful. Dragonflies danced above the water like tiny jewels. Fireflies glowed at night like floating stars. The wind whispered softly through the leaves, and every creature knew the lake as a place of harmony. Many frogs lived there. There were grandparents, cousins, uncles, aunts, and hundreds of little tadpoles learning to swim. They formed a large and caring community that looked after one another through every season. Among them lived a young frog named Finn. Finn was unlike the others. He was clever, very clever. He always knew how to solve problems, find the best lily pads, and discover hidden patches of delicious insects before anyone else. He was also unusually handsome. His green skin shimmered in the sunlight, and his golden eyes sparkled like polished amber. Because of this, everyone admired him. At first, Finn was kind, but little by little, admiration changed him. Whenever another frog offered help, Finn accepted it without hesitation. When someone brought him food, he took it. When someone saved him a comfortable spot on a lily pad, he used it. When someone helped him cross a dangerous stream, he simply hopped away afterward. Not once did he say, "Thank you." Not once did he show appreciation, and over time, something even worse happened. Finn began to expect these things. He believed he deserved them. One morning, his cousin spent hours collecting the fattest flies she could find. "I thought you might like these," she said with a smile. Finn glanced at the pile. "There should be more," he replied. His cousin's smile faded. Another day, his uncle repaired a damaged reed shelter that protected Finn from rain. When the work was finished, his uncle proudly asked, "What do you think?" Finn looked around. "It would have been better if you finished it yesterday." Then he walked away. Little by little, the frogs began feeling hurt. No matter what they did, it was never enough. The more they gave, the more Finn expected. The more they helped, the less he appreciated them. One evening, as the sun melted into shades of orange and pink, the frogs gathered near an old willow tree. The oldest frog in the lake, Grandpa Reed, cleared his throat. "We all care about Finn," he said softly. The others nodded. "But if we continue like this," he continued, "he will never understand how much he depends on those around him." The frogs looked at one another. "What should we do?" asked a young frog. Grandpa Reed smiled wisely. "We give him a lesson." The next morning, everything seemed normal. Finn woke up expecting breakfast. No breakfast arrived. He waited. Nothing happened. Finally, he went searching for food himself. It took much longer than he expected. By the time he found enough insects, he was tired and frustrated. The following day, rain clouds rolled over the forest. Normally, several relatives would help secure his shelter. This time, nobody came. Finn struggled for hours repairing it by himself. His legs ached. His back hurt. For the first time, he realized how much work others had been doing for him. Still, he refused to admit it. "They are probably just busy," he muttered. Days passed. Whenever he needed help, nobody rushed to assist him. The frogs weren't being cruel. They still greeted him politely. They still smiled, but they stopped doing things for him. Finn had to do everything himself. Soon, he became exhausted. One afternoon, while searching for food near the far side of the forest, Finn wandered farther than usual. The trees grew thicker. The shadows grew darker. The familiar sounds of the lake disappeared behind him. Before long, he realized he was lost. Very lost. He tried retracing his path. Every tree looked the same. Every patch of grass looked identical. Hours passed. The sun sank lower. Fear began creeping into his heart. As darkness settled over the forest, strange noises echoed around him. Branches cracked. Owls hooted. Leaves rustled. For the first time in his life, Finn felt completely alone. He found shelter beneath a fallen log and spent a sleepless night listening to the sounds of the wilderness. The next morning, hungry and frightened, he continued searching for home, but he only became more lost. By afternoon, a sudden storm arrived. Heavy rain pounded the forest. Strong winds bent the trees. Finn slipped down a muddy bank and landed in a shallow ditch. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't climb out. Rainwater filled the ditch. The water rose higher and higher. Panic overwhelmed him. "Help!" he cried. "Please, somebody help me!" His voice disappeared into the storm. For hours he struggled. Eventually, exhausted and shaking, he stopped fighting. As he sat there, waiting, memories began filling his mind. He remembered every frog who had helped him, every relative who had shared food, every friend who had protected him, every kind gesture he had ignored. For the first time, he saw things clearly. He had never been as independent as he believed. His comfortable life had been built upon the kindness of others, and he had treated that kindness as if it were worthless. Tears formed in his eyes. "I never thanked anyone," he whispered. The realization hurt more than the cold rain. Just as hope began fading, voices echoed through the forest. "Finn! Over here! We found him!" Finn looked up. Several frogs stood above the ditch. Among them were his cousins, his uncles, his aunts, and Grandpa Reed. They had been searching for him since morning. Together, they formed a chain. Working carefully, they pulled him to safety. The moment Finn reached solid ground, he lowered his head. No clever excuse came to mind. No proud speech. Only honesty. "I'm sorry." The frogs remained silent. Finn swallowed hard. "I've been selfish." His voice trembled. "You helped me for years, and I acted as if none of it mattered." The rain continued falling gently. "I thought I didn't need anyone." He looked at each of them. "But I was wrong." His eyes filled with tears. "Thank you." For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Grandpa Reed smiled. A warm smile, the kind that feels like sunlight after a storm. "That," he said softly, "is all we ever wanted to hear." The frogs gathered around him. No one scolded him. No one mocked him, because the lesson had already been learned. When they returned to the lake, something changed. Not only in Finn's behavior, but in his heart. Whenever someone helped him, he thanked them. Whenever someone needed assistance, he offered it. He shared food. He repaired shelters. He listened. He gave back. And strangely enough, the more gratitude he showed, the happier he became. Years later, young tadpoles would gather around Finn to hear stories. And whenever they asked him the secret of a happy life, he always gave the same answer. "The strongest frog is not the one who needs nobody." He would smile at the peaceful lake. "The strongest frog is the one who remembers the kindness of others and is grateful for it." The fireflies would dance across the water. The willow trees would sway in the evening breeze, and the lake would remain peaceful, carrying that lesson from one generation to the next. For gratitude, like ripples upon still water, spreads farther than we can ever imagine. The end